Hey everyone, another decent day in the market. Because of the rate increase, I thought there wasn't going to be that much liquidity, but it wasn't the case. We had some good action and I was able to make out pretty well. So let's dive right into the trades. I have some good trades to show you guys and some good halt trades. So let's dive right into it. So as you can see on the screen, it's 9:28 and its market is about to open. So right now I'm actually looking at Zura. I don't have the chart pulled up here, but it's on the screen to my left. So I was looking at it on that side, and on the other screen I had pulled up FRC. In the morning watch list, I put it on Twitter. I was watching FRC. I was watching the bank stocks, Zura, and a couple other ones that were on the gap scanner. But the main one that I wanted to watch from at the market open was Zura, because it had crazy action yesterday. And usually when that happens, when a stock keeps halting up, the next day there's at least something left into it. I call it the Me Too on the stocks. I call it the Me Too movement on the stock side, because there's some traders out there that didn't get a chance to be a part of it because they left early, and then the next day they all want to come into it. So that's why I like to trade the high spread stocks that halt up and down. So I try to keep an eye out at the market open. So it's about to be 9:30, and when it opens up, I'm actually looking at Zura. So let me pull up the chart, and this is what I'm looking at right now. So I drew a pivot out here on Zura, which was a low of this, high of this move right here. So I was waiting for the pivot to hit. And as soon as the pivot hits, we're at 9:30. So the first candle on the 1 minute chart right here, there should be 5 minute. So almost at the end of the first minute, I come in with 3,000 shares. This is the window right here, the order window for Zura, and I'm just waiting. And at this point, you can see I'm down to almost $2,000, $1,500, and I'm kind of, my heart rate's getting up, and I'm like, should I be in this or not? Because if it moves, it should move up right away. If not, the plan is to get out right away. So here, I'm like, you know what? I started loosening up my position, and then I'm out, and I'm down 1,000. Honestly, that's a good exit for a stock like this, which can move dollars at a time. So then I jump into FRC right away because I thought it was going to keep going up, and then instant loss, $400. Boom, made the loss worse. Great day to start with, and I'm thinking, man, this is probably going to be a red day. Not much is going on. Market fell yesterday, so today is not going to be that great. And then I'm looking at it, 2 minutes, third minute, it goes down. I'm waiting for Zura. I'm looking at other stocks. I'm like, is there anything else trading? I think the Momo scanner was having some like non-players come on up, the low volume stuff. So I wasn't really interested in that. So I was just sitting there. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's not that bad of a red day. So let me just, take it easy. Now I'm like, okay, if it didn't go up right away, then it's probably shorts are gonna take over. It's gonna go down. So here you can see it's kind of going down here. Kind of giving it away here. Let me build up the suspense. And then at 9:32, 9:33, see it's halting down. So it halts down, and then obviously we come back in 5 minutes, and then until then I look at basically nothing. I'm like, you know what? This is probably done. I'm checking out other stocks, BBBY. Oh, and then I take ETNB, right? I'll show you the chart on this. It's pretty interesting. ETNB, if you look at yesterday, it kind of broke this pivot just a little bit, the high of, the past few months. And then it broke it, and then it just failed, right? The day before here. it just never made it up there. I took a couple of trades yesterday too, but you know, gave back some profit. Didn't make anything here. Actually, I was red on this stock yesterday. And then today, as soon as it did this action right here, the bottoming tail, I'm like, you know what? This has something there. So that's when I take the trade here, 936-ish. And then I'm holding. You know, I'll show you. Let me go back a little bit here. So I'm holding here, 935. I'm holding, thinking that, you know, if it's doing this, it's probably going to keep going up, right? And then I'm holding 6,000 shares here. I'm up unrealized almost $500, but I'm like, you know, I see some range here. It can easily get to 1480. And we've seen this with these mid-cap stocks. So I was just holding it and waiting for it. And all of a sudden it just turns around and boom, we see a red candle right there. And from being up 500, I was down, basically scratch trade, like down $100 or so. I mean, I did make some 267, at least I was up on it. And then Zura was halted down. It's going to open up at 938. So I was waiting for that. And it didn't gap down a lot. I mean, it gapped down 50 cents, which is, you know, if you think about it, it's not that much for a $24 stock. So it's not breaking down by too much. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? It's going to be a disappointing day. There's not going to be much action here. So I'm looking at SMX was another one of my watch list stocks. And I see this, you see that huge bid? It was FRC actually. I switched up to FRC and I see this huge bid. But at this point right here, all the banks were tanking. So I'm like, I'm not touching this. You know, I see that I drew this diagonal ascending, descending support here, but I'm like, I'm not going to touch this. You know, this is not where you touch any stock, let alone banking stocks, which are very, very risky. So now opens Zura. Let me back up a little bit. So in 2 seconds, 2411. And the chart wasn't there, so let me pull it up. As soon as it does this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's probably going to come up now. So we're looking at this right here. 938 candle. And then it doesn't go up, but I'm like, you know what? I'm still not interested. It's still risky because the trade was, usually the trade is in the first two minutes, but not after a halt down. After a halt down kind of invites more short sellers. So I wait until 939 and I'm like, you know what? This could be a reversal because it ate up most of the move down, right? It went down 23. And it's almost at 26 and we started off at 28. So I'm like, oh, it like made back all the moves. So I got it on a dip and I got filled at 24.38. I take some profit right away. So at least I'm positive on the day and up 1,000 all of a sudden, right? My entry was 24.38. Let's look at that again, where I entered. Let's watch the tape, how I enter. I see some move there and you know, the price, yeah, it's a dollar spread. But I'm like, I know that it might have something. So I got in, got filled at 24.38, got a good fill. And now I'm in the profit, at least, or a small loss. So even if I have to bail, I can probably bail rather fast. You know, it's still risky, of course. And now I'm in the profit. And then all of a sudden, boom, we just touch up there. For a quick second, I was unrealized plus 3,000. And I start taking some profit and I'm like, if it halts here, I think I do want to hold it, but it has to go and stick to the upper band right away, which it wasn't doing. So I kept taking quarter of my size every time. And then when I saw this, I'm like, you know what? Today I was negative and this would put me up at about 3,000. Let me take more profit. So I take, oh, you know what? This is funny what I did here. So when I see this, I'm like, oh, it wants to halt up. We're here at this point. I'm like, it wants to halt up and it's kind of thin. So I added more shares to like do my part, I guess. I mean, you know, I've done this before and I paid a heavy price because it just reverses down. But at this time, I got a better price. You know, I got filled more, and then look at it was gonna gap up after it halts up. So let's look at that again. What I did. So it was kind of thin here, right? And I'm like, man, if it halts up here, then we're off, right? Like then we're in for some action. And I see this and I'm like, man, let me just add to like make this thicker. Yeah, you know, it's very risky to do that because you don't know when it turns around, and you know, it could be it could be a dumb thing to do. But I took the chance and it halted up, and all of a sudden I was up like unrealized 8,000. Because it was showing $31.88. All right, so that was that. And at that time, I took another trade on ZVSA. This is also interesting to look at. ZVSA, I think, no, it just popped up on the Momo scanner. So I see the daily chart. I'm like, oh, there's some room at least up until the 50 EMA here. So there might be some move. Let me get in on the dip. So yeah, I see this right here, and 2027, 28, I'm like, this is a pretty good micro dip. Let me just get in, and boom, boom, boom. I just get in 10,500 shares, and all of a sudden I'm in the profit. I'm up about $200-300. I'm like, I'll take it in the 50s. I was waiting for the 50s, but I took some profit, and actually I'm all out. Should have waited for 50s, but you know, $481 is not bad. I was actually waiting for 50s. I was disappointed, but I mean, you never go broke taking profit early. So there we go. Wow, that was a good move. Very good move. It halted up, or at least it stuck to the band on the upper band here. Anyway, let's get back to watching Zura. Just, you know, some trades here and there. Oh, and then the price comes back all the way down to 2078. When does it open? 4 minutes in about 30 seconds. Let's see. Let's get ready. So, you know, as you can see, this is what happened. But let's see what happens on the tape. So it opens up 25. Oh, man. So I just take some profit right away because if you think about it, you know, it was showing $31. I got really excited. And then when it opens up almost flat and I'm negative, then I'm kind of panicking because it can really just go down and halt down. So I didn't want to take that chance. So I started, you know, loosening up my position a little bit. So, okay, so let's watch this again. It opens up and then that's what I see. And I'm like, you know what? I'm automatically panicking out. I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. Let me just get out. And then as I was getting out, I see 26, 27. Oh my God. It just goes up and I'm like, you know what? Let me just take some profit here. It's about to halt up, yeah, but let me just take some profit. And then it just halts up. So one halts down, second halt up, third halt up. And, you know, this was going to be good, right? Because when it hits this, it's at what, 28.72. The high of yesterday was $37. This was where we started. We're almost making our way up. This is really bullish. If we get up to like 34, 35, we're off to the charts. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. And I'm only holding 200 shares, but hey, I can't complain. I'm already up $3,000, which is, you know, almost my, I mean, I don't even have a daily goal right now. The goal is to be green these days with such low liquidity. So I'm more than happy with what I've made so far. So I'm just, you know, carrying on. And on the other side, look at ZVSA. Like this is what's common nowadays. A stock goes up and it just goes up one way, and you can't just take a pullback on these stocks if it goes up too much. If it goes up too much, if it's extended, then it just comes right back down. This is like a inverse V, which is I call it an A type pattern. You can't trade this as a long, even as a short. It's too risky. Because what are you going to short now? So I'm in here. It's going to open up in 5 minutes at 50. So let's go there. All right. It's going to open up about $5 above. I'm at unrealized 1,000. So let me pull up the chart. Now let's watch the tape and see what we can, what we see there. Well, actually, it doesn't open up because look at the gap here. It's almost $6 to $7. So obviously it's gonna be 10-minute halt. And then I take another stab at ETNB. Let's look at the chart for that. So as you saw, it was a phenomenal move. But you know, this required some patience. I mean, once I knew that I lost the trust in it at around this, when it made this move. So when it did this, I'm like, yeah, I know it's gonna make a new high now. But you know, at least the trade was at least valid until $16. Or, you know, I had this pivot here, at least until this the high of this right here on the daily chart. So I knew that we were going to get some action at least until here, but it's moving so choppy and grinding up that it's not so easy to trade. But I took some trades regardless, and I even got short by mistake trading ETNB. Let's look at that, see what happened. So I'm taking the trade here. 951 candle. Let's see what's there. Didn't have it pulled up in my main chart. 951. I'm in at 1438. I have a decent entry, but you know, I knew that this was going to require me to hold. So here's a window for, the trade window. Well, 10 cents for my entry, and I'm getting in more. I sell a little more, and boom. I thought, you know, we're going off now, but obviously that was a mistake, because then I realized that, hey, this is probably gonna grind up, so let me not take this risk. I sell, and before I realized, I actually went short. I didn't realize this was easy to borrow stock, so I went short, and then obviously I do have a hotkey to cover my short position. I covered right away, and I luckily ended up with $100 profit. I've gotten unlucky many times with that when I accidentally went short. All right, back to Zura. And at this point, another stock was going up, DHHC. I'll pull it up on the main screen in a second. Oh yeah, I see it right here. This got my attention, and I'm watching it. I'm like, all right, it's about to open up here in 20 seconds. So let's see. I couldn't take a trade on this one, but let's see what the tape does so we can spot something here. It's going to open up in 5 seconds. It's opening up almost $2 up. I take a trade, I get filled at 1707, and I just book it. I book the loss, and obviously it goes up right after. Botched trade. Completely botched. This is what happens when you this was classic FOMO, right? Let's watch it again. It opens up, I'm waiting for that dip. I don't get the dip, oh my God. And then I come in at the end. And then I'm like, you know what, is it gonna halt up? Nope, I gotta panic out, and boom, it goes back up. Classic. All right, let's go back to Zura. On this candle right here. I come in, I'm like, you know what, I see this dip right here. Now we're probably off to like going towards a high day, and I take the dip, and it halts up, right? It touches the upper band, and good thing I took more profit here, because you know, at this point I'm just trying to hit base hits, take my profit and be out, and then all of a sudden it just reverses down. Crazy. I mean, if I didn't go for my base hits, if I was going for like a home run, this would have been the best example why not to take home runs on these trades. Get the dip, get decent profit, and get out. Boom, it halted down. And now the chart just became ugly. And, you know, we see what happens here. There's one more trade that I take after this, which I'll show you in a bit. And from this point on, I'm up decent. I'm up $5 on the day, so I mean, I can't complain here. I take CXAI. Let's see what that one was all about. So when I see this, I started looking at it here. Let me back up a little bit. It's 957. I see CXAI, and boom, boom, boom. I just go in, at 9:57. Kind of late in the game, but I took the dip. Yeah, actually, I took the dip. I got a really nice fill. 236. CXA is down here. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for 250 now. Since I got a really good fill, I'm already in the profit. I got a decent size, so I know I can patiently wait here for 250. And when it doesn't go right away, I know that it's already extended. So I do start taking some profit there. It came down a little bit, but I knew that I can wait because I had a really good entry. So then it goes to a 250 target met, and then the rest is just icing on the cake. I'll wait for a little bit more, and then boom, 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 I'm out. That was a grand. I was up at almost below 500. That was an $1,100 trade right there. Happy with that. Zura halts down again. As we see, the chart became ugly. Halted down again. Zura halts down the third time. So this is how the chart looked, right? Ugly, just halting down one after the other. But it wasn't halting down, it wasn't gapping down a lot. So I was just here, 22, 21, it halted down, still there. At this point, I'm still trying to trade ETNB, but because it's a grinder, I thought it's gonna like start moving fast a little bit, but all attempts were trash. Now, DHHC, I'm feeling FOMO here. I'm like, I missed 1, 2, and third. This halt, let's just watch what happens in this halt right here. So we're at right here, 1736, and it's about to open. It's gonna open up at $19. Boom, opens up, dip, and boom, rip. This is a 15-second chart right here. It just goes straight up. That's it. A few pauses in the middle, but in those pauses, I would have thought that it's going to return, but it's going to turn down, but it doesn't. It just keeps going up. And look at that. Amazing. It was a strong halt regardless. And now let's see what I did on Zura. This is pretty interesting what I did here. It's going to open up at 12:31, right? 1 minute. Let me pull up the chart here. We were right here. Now, after seeing 3 halts down and the price is still flat, 22.15, it closed at 22.21. So I'm like, does this mean, can I wait? So I was watching this. I see it and I press it right there. 500, price is not going down. I added more, and boom, there we go. I just started taking profit, and boom, 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 I got great fills, just like that. A couple of thousand. It's called a dip trade, and it is risky. But after 3 halts down and it's opening up flat, I can expect a little move up, which it did. And then I'm like, my work's done here. I'm out. So I'm up $8,000 on the day, just like that. And that was it. And I had one more trade, which I want to show you, which is on DH. And this is something to watch right now. When I see something like this, I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? DHHC. It's halted up at 21. It's showing that it's going to open up at 24.57. Now, just watch this, right? It should open up at 10:04.26. It halted up, and it should open at 10:19.26, right? And just watch the clock and see where it opens. 10 more seconds to go. Nope, it opens at 16. What the hell? If that's not manipulation, I don't know what is. Come on, NASDAQ. So I'm in this position on ETNB. I'm taking another shot at it. And boom, I had to sell it. I'm like, let me see what's happening here. It opens up early. I was waiting for it. And then I take one trade. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be safe here. I take 500 shares, got filled at 24.88, and I sold it at 26.68. Almost $2 on 500 shares. I'll take it. That's a classic basic trade right there. And then I just didn't look back on DHHC. And when I saw this, I'm like, this is way more than I can make in a day nowadays. So I just got up and took a break. Why not, right? I actually took I came back later, I took a trade on SPX. I'll show you quickly what I did on SPX there. So I thought after yesterday's rejection, I'm like, yeah, it's going up right now, but it's probably gonna come down. I don't know when. So I actually took a trade. I took a trade here. We opened up here, and then I'm like, you know what, this is a lot of higher highs, so I'm gonna take a small trade. I took a trade right there. I took a trade here actually. I sold some call options, spreads of course, and I was hoping that, you know, we follow suit because of the 25 basis point rate hike. It's probably gonna go down now, right? I mean, I should have really waited for a lower low before I went in, but I took a trade. I'm like, you know what, if I'm not bearish here, I don't know when I am. You know, this is probably predictable, but I took a trade here, and then obviously it reversed on me. My stop loss was right above this, and as soon as it goes above it, I take a $375 or $400 loss on 2 contracts. And then a good thing I got out, because then boom, it just kept going up, and I would have been stuck in this. Yeah, it came down later on, like all the way down, and I would have been like nicely in profit, but I'm not gonna hold in red that much. So I did that, and then I came back and I took another trade, and I ended the day at 10K. I don't have a recording for that. Posted my P&L on Twitter, so you can go check it out. All right, folks, that's all I have for you. You know, if you like my content, if you find value on, you know, how to trade and what I'm seeing when I'm trading, please give me a like, leave a comment on what you traded today, and please subscribe. All right, thank you, folks. I'll see you on the next one.